We've all wondered what would happen if all the Formula One drivers competed with identical cars. So, same setup, same power, no team advantage, just the drivers and their pure talent. Well, it seems impossible. Yet, in 1984, that's exactly what happened. The Race of Champions. The goal was very clear. Bring together all the Formula One world champions and the most promising drivers behind the wheel of identical cars to see who would really be the best. And one of them, Ayrton Senna, with only 4 races in Formula One, showed that he had that little something extra. Welcome to the Race of Champions. So, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. On May 12, 1984, the brand new Nürburgring circuit was about to experience a historic moment, 8 years after the terrible accident of Niki Lauda in 1976 on the old northern layout of the Nürburgring. A modern and shortened circuit was built this time to meet safety requirements. And to inaugurate this magnificent new circuit, Mercedes had the idea of the century, a unique race, the Mercedes-Benz Cup, also known as the Race of Champions. The concept is innovative and unprecedented, with 20 Formula One drivers competing on equal terms. All behind the wheel of the same model, specially prepared for the occasion, to ensure a battle where only the driver's talent will make the difference. Well, they need a car, and it just so happens that Mercedes has just finished developing a new sports car, the 190e 2-liter 3, 16 valves. So, it may seem trivial, but it's a real revolution for the Star brand, which until now was known for its sensible, comfortable cars aimed at a completely different market. But this 185 horsepower sports car designed in partnership with Cosworth is here to change the game. For racing, each car gets a few light modifications, stiffer and lowered suspensions, roll cages and reinforced brakes. Just enough to handle the driving of our champions. And yes, they're about to push these cars to their limits. We end up with 20 Mercedes 190e, half of them in metallic grey, each with the driver's name written on it and the other half in black. And look at the beauty of these setups. There's nothing at stake in this race, no title on the line, just the drivers, their pride, and their egos at play. Who will become the best in the world? The man capable of beating the greatest drivers of all time on equal terms. Mercedes' other achievement is having managed to bring together on this grid an extraordinary lineup of drivers, if not the most prestigious of all time. Because you probably know this, but Formula One drivers are known for loving competition. So, convincing them to compete against each other in identical cars, where only each person's talent can make the difference, without being able to hide behind the excuse of having a less competitive Formula One car, that's a real achievement. And to help you understand the scale of this race, out of the 14 champions still alive, 9 showed up. Niki Lauda, double world champion and about to win the current season as well. Jack Brabham, triple champion, John Surtees, champion and the only driver to win titles in both motorcycle racing and Formula One. James Hunt, 1976 champion Denny Hume, Jody Scheckter, Phil Hill, Alan Jones and also Keke Rosberg, 1982 champion, the father of a certain Nico Rosberg. The other champions each have their own reasons for not attending. Jackie Stewart has honored his vow never to race again after his friend François Sever's death. Emerson Fittipaldi and Mario Andretti are held up in the United States for the Indianapolis 500 qualifying. The reigning champion, Nelson Piquet, declined the invitation, and Juan Manuel Fangio, who was 72 at the time, will only be present as the guest of honor. But that only makes 9 drivers on the grid, so they have to fill it. So, other exceptional drivers were added, like Carlos Ruttmann, John Watson, Jack Lafitte, Elio De Angelis, Hans Hermann, Udo Schütz, Manfred Schurti, Klaus Ludwig, and Alain Prost, the winner of the Grand Prix.
Hello, my name is Alain Prost.
Even the legend Sterling Moss, one of the greatest drivers without a world title, will come to join the event. And among all these stars, there is a surprise guest, a young Brazilian driver, 24 years old, a rookie just starting his young career. Having participated in only 4 Formula One Grands Prix with Toleman, his record is slim. Just 1 British, 3 championship title, Ayrton Senna, of course. And if he is here, it's thanks to Gerd Kramer, the head of sports marketing at Mercedes, who noticed his talent and suggested him to complete the prestigious list. Most of his competitors don't even know him. But for Senna, this isn't just a gala race. He sees it as an opportunity to prove his worth against the masters of his discipline. 120,000 spectators are gathered around this new circuit. The weather is damp. On the grid, the champions. Some are relaxed, others are focused. Two different moods. Some here to have fun, others ready to fight for victory. In the pre-race interviews, most are there to have fun and please Mercedes, but Ayrton Senna sees things completely differently. For him, it's the perfect opportunity to measure himself against the best on equal terms. He has nothing to lose and everything to gain. But what happened during the race? Well, to start with, during qualifying, Alain Prost set the fastest time and would therefore be in pole position. Right behind him is Carlos Rotman, who, despite being retired, also set an impressive time. And in third position, our Brazilian is there, in great shape, determined to win. Niki Lauda, on his part, would have to settle for 14th position on the grid, having missed the practice sessions due to media obligations. It's race time, 12 laps to complete under a grey sky and on a slightly damp track. As soon as the lights go out, Ayrton Senna, starting third, attacks right away without hesitation. He takes the inside line at the first corner and pushes Prost, who won't be able to hold on to his first place. He gets swallowed up by the pack. No luck for him, Prost is hit from behind by De Angelis and will have to return to the pits to repair a suspension component. At least it's clear, just because it's a gala race doesn't mean everyone is going to drive nicely. In fact, this first duel between the two is probably seen by many as the starting point of their rivalry. And by the way, a pretty funny detail, that very morning, it was Prost who welcomed Senna by driving him from the airport to the circuit. Well, the broadcast of the first seconds of the race was completely messed up. The production was still airing the speech of the regional president, which means we missed the opening moments. At the back, several drivers are taking the event lightly, which leads to some pretty surreal scenes, like James Hunt cutting corners through the grass to save time. Hans Hermann, on his side, is driving at a crawl. He had negotiated the purchase of his car and absolutely wanted to bring it home in one piece. John Surtees, on his side, doesn't trust the ABS on his car and so decides to drive carefully. Two parallel races are starting to take shape, the one at the front of the track and the one at the back of the pack. But one champion isn't having any fun at all. Starting from the 7th row, Niki Lauda is focused and also attacks right from the start. Under his helmet, his gaze is sharp. You can feel he's motivated, as if he's fighting for a Grand Prix victory. Very quickly, he begins an impressive comeback, overtaking each competitor with surgical precision. In just a few laps, he's already up to 5th place. He starts by overtaking the slower drivers, then goes after big names like Jordi Scheckter or Keke Rosberg. The Austrian is giving it his all, using every inch of the track, pushing his braking points, perfecting his racing lines. Lap after lap, Lauda gains ground. Now he's in 3rd place at the halfway point and, after a few more corners, overtakes Jack Brabham. Now it's time for a driving duel where only experience or talent will lead to victory. Lauda versus Senna. Our Brazilian has a clear path ahead and plans to make the most of it. And how can we explain all this? Everything is perfect. That day, Ayrton Senna will give us a real driving lesson. His driving is smooth, controlled, and calculated to the millimeter. At no point do you see him forcing the car. Everything is smooth. He constantly modulates the pressure on the accelerator to reach the limit of grip and stabilize his car when exiting the corner. It feels like his car is floating. Everything is perfectly smooth. He combines perfect racing lines, letting him get extremely close to curbs without hitting them. You can actually see it really well right here. Senna brushes perfectly against the apex, followed by Lauda missing it by a few millimeters, the next two also missing it by a little, and the rest going completely over the curb. And this millimeter precise driving was actually proven later, during the Dallas Grand Prix in 1984. Senna hits a concrete wall and tells his engineer that it wasn't a driving mistake, but that the wall had moved. And indeed, after the race, they discovered that the wall had actually moved by 4 to 10 millimeters, proving an incredibly precise driving. Senna leads the pack and stays strong under pressure from a multiple world champion behind him, holding his position lap after lap. Meanwhile, Lauda does everything he can. After making his way through the entire pack, he also wants to take the victory, but the task won't be that simple. So, focused, he puts in fast laps, but quickly realizes that the remaining laps aren't enough to make up for his delay. Up front, Senna doesn't give up and holds his ground. Who would have bet on that this morning? The rookie is giving it everything, putting total trust in his car's grip. Just one more lap to go, one last lap without mistakes, so he stays focused. This is not the time to lose focus, because a single slip off the racing line and it would be over. Coming out of the final corner, Ayrton Senna sees the checkered flag waving and races toward the finish line. Victory for the Brazilian. So, the victory of a rookie who came out of nowhere is definitely something to be happy about, right? Well, not for everyone. In fact, Mercedes was actually kind of disgusted by his victory. Their goal was to showcase their new model, the 190E, and for a big name to win the race to generate immediate media impact. And yes, showing Prost or even Lauda driving the new Mercedes would have had a much bigger impact. Because Senna, let me remind you, nobody knew him. It took patiently waiting a few years before fully enjoying his victory. And what were the reactions of the drivers? Alain Prost, who had been suddenly overtaken by Senna at the start of the race, later revealed that the Brazilian's driving was a bit too aggressive. He surely realized at that very moment that he was facing a formidable opponent. And this event is often considered the starting point of one of the greatest rivalries in the history of Formula One. Niki Lauda, for his part, having finished second, said he immediately recognized the incredible talent of this driver, and coming from him, that's far from insignificant. In the end, it was Juan Manuel Fangio who presented the trophy to the winner. As for the Mercedes cars, Senna's is on display at the brand's museum in Stuttgart, and Lauda's was given to a Swiss collector. And 2 years ago, it was resold at auction for nearly $340,000. Only these two examples have remained in racing configuration. All the others were converted back into cars for the general public. The race of champions isn't just a race. It's the moment when Senna revealed himself and proved his pure driving talent to the world. This race, where only mastery and perfect control of your single-seater could make the difference. By the way, I don't know about you, but I would love to see a similar race nowadays. Because with a Franz Hermann who really isn't doing so badly, I also wonder how the others would manage. Anyway, if you're still here, thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.